So whose idea was it to do van life? Or should we back it up farther?
I think we should back it up specifically.
Okay.
Who wanted to change their life, I think would say that would be, yeah.
Life is the ultimate adventure with highs and lows, twists and turns, glorious achievements, and terrible potholes. We've learned to adapt quickly and find balance. In 2018, we decided it was time to live tiny and experience as much as we could, setting ourselves up to be comfortable no matter what happens. Come along for the ride as we document our journey.
Hi!
I'm Amy.
And I'm Joe.
And we're the Rolling Rogans.
Whoa! We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me. Do, 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 do. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. It's gonna be like this for 6 hours. Yep.
That's just to Nashville.
Yeah.
So I figured now would be a good time to talk about why we did van life.
Oh, I see. That's
Surprise!
how you got me. Oh! Oh!
I mean, we've got 6 hours of driving, so
Come
we
on!
might as well do something with the time. Make our own show.
I built a van for the world to travel around.
Is this going to be a game, like, see if people can catch the movie quotes?
Yeah, but that's not quite like the movie quote, because, like...
Yeah, you changed it.
I changed it. I was not happy in Pennsylvania. You know, after I quit my job, we're not going to go before where I left UPS, blah, blah, blah.
So that's the end of the book till now.
Right. But I don't know, I was seeking something different, and we just sold our house, and then we're back into apartments again.
Right, because I worked at QVC,
Mm-hmm.
and
I wanted you to be 5 minutes away, because that was like a
well, we had a 90-minute commute,
that was crazy.
and I couldn't do that. Yeah,
Right.
driving too much.
Right.
But we had our friends, Corinne and Brandon, that were full-time.
They were in the process of it when we first met them. When they bought their RV, they did the research and everything. When I started the yo-yo company with Brandon, so that was seeing that, and I think what it was is like first, our initial plan was let's move to Australia, like wanted a different environment, a different change. I think I wanted culture shock. I guess.
I am a ray of sunshine for you right now.
So.
Ooh, that's bad. Hold on a second.
But we did talk about.
I think that was about 2009, 2010 is when we started talking about doing full-time RVing, putting it on our vision board.
Didn't know about vans at that time.
No, but we put it on our vision board, and
yes, and also my yo-yo company was, around at the time,
mm-hmm.
So we were doing that, and you finally left QVC and went to Florida with me after I left you.
You left me in the cold in Pennsylvania for 8 weeks.
I said, I am going to Florida and I'm not coming back,
Yeah, so moving to Florida, Orlando, the two places that I could work was Disney or Universal, and I did both.
You did.
And moved up very quickly in Disney and got to do some really cool stuff there.
So we went to an apartment to a house again. By that time, it wasn't one of those things where I had to look around and try to find a job. We found ways to sustain ourselves by doing those businesses. Like we made homemade granola bars. That was one of the reasons why we got the house, actually. It was a tool. The kitchen was the assembly line place where we could produce those granola bars.
I think that was really where we started using our environment as our tool.
I think it's always been that way, to be honest. I mean, because
But I don't think that the house in New Jersey, we didn't do that.
No, because we were that normal lifestyle
Right.
of trying to do things like how
Be normal people.
normal people live. Like, you know, after you graduate, you're looking for your job, and then you're trying to establish yourself, and you're doing all these things, and that wasn't in the cards for us, apparently.
There, like I felt very comfortable there. And then when we had our Airbnb, we met people. I think we met people from 35 different countries.
Right.
I think it's because we were right by Disney, so we got to meet so many people.
It's the entrepreneur in us again.
Right.
Is like, how can we make a couple bucks? And so Disney's 5 minutes away from us. People want to go on travel to see Disney. It's like they're,
that's when we started our first road trip.
That's right.
Well, one of our first road trips.
But the van, if we're going back to tools, so yeah, like back home in New Jersey, that was like trying to be life, you know, it's trying to just
responsible, normal,
like, be
normal people, which is fine
everything.
for some people, but
it's not for everybody, but it's for some
not for
people.
us.
It's not, and there's no downplay on that, because some people like that structure, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's just all
They
about
thrive
being
in it.
happy. That's the important thing.
But I think with all the turmoil and all the challenges and almost losing my life a bunch of times, like that normal life that I was striving for
I think that's
I
when
didn't want that anymore.
It's not. I'm gonna be careful how I throw this word out, but I think that's when you started having those health problems and you had all these things go on.
My mental illness.
I think that's when when you got better and everything. Like, I didn't care about like anything else.
Typical.
Like, what does that even matter
society.
anymore?
Yeah.
Because I didn't put the snooze button on and say oh, okay, it's good. It's like that woke me up to realize that really shook me up to see how I have to function and live and do this and miss out on things because of
not miss out on things.
Not miss out on things. Yeah.
So because we went through all those challenges and I almost died or almost killed.
What do you got to lose?
suicide.
If you almost died, what do you got to lose?
Exactly.
What, like that you get a job and you're like in a new place and you don't know if you're
Life
gonna make
is
it?
short, so we got this.
Yeah.
I mean, we've always had the travel bug before we even met. I mean, you lived in Venezuela and I went to Europe in high school, and so the travel bug, even before we met, was in there. It was festering.
But also, the van is a tool.
Right.
The van was never meant to be our home. It's at the first point. Well, sort of.
So,
it was, yeah.
So let me tie this in here. So after our granola bar business, during our granola bar business, we opened a coffee catering business, which then phased out the granola bar business. And we were catering for thousands and thousands of people for weddings and corporate parties.
And if we could haul our stuff.
So the
coffee
van
equipment.
originally was going to be a coffee shop because we were going to open up the back and have a coffee bar out the back and do events. Thanks to COVID, that kind of shut that business down.
Well, yeah.
We were phasing it out anyways. I was losing passion for it. I didn't want to do it anymore.
I was losing passion for it too. The van did act as that, and that was because, when we're done doing a venue or an event, we just would be exhausted. And instead of driving 2 hours back home that night, we could just crash in the van, and that was the idea, and having that partition on the back.
That was I would say around 2017 is when we started looking at the vans, because we were doing a lot of research on different types of rigs. Class A's, Class B's, Class C, trailers, fifth wheels. How did we want to travel, and how was it going to work for us? And then you came across the vans.
Vans on Instagram and on YouTube.
And we love building things. We love creating and building.
I'm going to do some shout outs, because it was I think the first video I saw was Captain Fantastic. That was, I don't know if they're still out there or whatever.
I wonder what they're doing.
I saw what they were doing, and I was this could be cool. And I just, like I said, I jokingly, we could do this. We could live in a van. But then you get that stigma about living in a van down by the river. And,
But before that, we did a practice run road trip
That's right.
in our Honda Fit.
So it wasn't about like, let's just get in a van and go. I think what it was about is, let's see how far we could travel. I really think that's what it comes down to. It's like, we used the existing car that we had.
Our little tiny Honda Fit. We took out the back seats, built a platform so that we had storage, and we could put the front seats forward and put camp mattresses in. Used my pattern making skills and made shades for all the windows. So we car camped 2 months, 8 weeks. We did 27 states. And a lot of this started because we had family events, we had business events. Your dad's in Florida, your mom's in California, my family's in Wisconsin. You still got family in the Northeast. We've got friends in the Northeast. We got friends all across the world, really, but a lot of them across the country.
Right.
And we wanted to see everybody. And so instead of flying to all these different places, we took 2 months and drove around the country. But one thing for you to convince me to do that road trip, what was it?
I don't know. I just basically said that I don't know why we have to do this, but we have to go on the road.
You have, we call it your whispers, right?
Yeah,
your
whispers or instincts or inklings in my head sound totally ridiculous, and I'm sure some people can relate to that or share their, like, this sounds weird that I'm about to do this. Like,
another reason we just roll with it?
It's like, that is totally, but if you have in your gut something that you really, feel really 100% about, and you should do it, do it.
And at that time, I was like strict planner. Like, I've got to know where we're parked, what hotels, when are we going to be in the different locations, the dates, the exact, like, I had to control, but I pushed myself out of my comfort zone. We had 2 dates, one in Las Vegas and one in Scranton, that we had to hit. And then, so we were a little bit flexible. So I purposely did not plan the route of where we were going to sleep and stuff to push myself out of my comfort zone, which I'm so appreciative of that trip. We got to line up with the total solar eclipse in Nebraska that we did not expect.
That was awesome.
That was amazing.
A car hinge.
I'm going to do another shout out to Rod Smith, because he was part of our coffee business that we were working with. And Rod Smith, for those of you who don't know, is a 2-time Super Bowl champion for the Denver Broncos wide receiver. He was
97, 98, I believe.
I thought it was 98, 99.
It's the late 90s, though.
He's going to be mad at us.
He played with John Elway.
But we got to stay at his house. Like, it was amazing. And then we got to go see
so grateful for that.
I know. I mean, to learn from him and to how humble he was to bring us into his home to learn from
We played
us.
We played
the cash flow game.
The cash flow game from Robert Kiyosaki.
What we learned in that game, we were able to pay this van off 2 years early.
That's right.
So everything is intertwined, but
by that gut instinct of
the
doing
whole
something.
thing is just rolling with it. You had that instinct. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to go with it, and let's see what happens. And ever since then, we've really been enjoying, like, I plan a little bit. Like,
I'm going to say
we have to go to Florida right now.
I'm going to also say we were facing bankruptcy at the same time.
Not that point.
Close to it, or like we had something where we wouldn't be able to afford our house. Something like that.
So, yeah, that's when we put it up on Airbnb and stuff. No, but I think it was still about a year later.
You sure?
After the road trip, yeah. We were getting close, but the bankruptcy, I think, was a year later.
So stay tuned for that one. Bankruptcy. No, don't do that.
That was definitely an interesting experience.
Right.
But anyway, so that little Honda Fit got us around and got us to meet people and learn from multimillionaires and learn from people that, my cousin who lives in Colorado in the middle of nowhere, pretty much, my aunt and uncle, we've gotten to see them more than my whole rest of my family have seen. That's them.
Right.
And so I'm just grateful that we're on wheels now so that we can see everybody.
Right.
And visit everybody. I just jumped ahead a little bit.
Remember the vision board that you had on the visor of
Right.
the Honda Fit?
Yes.
When we decided to do the van,
Right.
and we were researching vans, and like you said, we were having financial difficulties, so we weren't quite ready to get the van yet.
That wasn't in the cards.
But you had a picture of the van on the visor. So every time you did Uber and Lyft and things like that, you would see it every day you were working. And that was
Right.
your goal that you worked towards. So then we went to
And then we
San
got
Antonio and came back, and then the car died.
the car died. Yep.
200,000 miles and the car died.
210 or 20.
Something like that. The clutch went, and we barely hobbled to the dealership
and
where the
it
van
leaked,
was.
And it was leaking from like raining. It would
We
leak.
were
It was what
not
else? There was something
ready.
else like that failed on it. I'm trying to
The headlight was gone, the air conditioning went.
Yes, and then it leaked, and
There was a leak in the roof for some reason, and then the clutch went.
and
And
the clutch went.
oh my gosh, we had windows down,
And then when the
hobbling
clutch,
to the
we were
dealership.
hobbling. We were totally hobbling to
40 miles per hour.
the dealer because
They knew we
you
weren't.
found
They knew we weren't leaving.
you found a van that was there that kind of fit what we were looking for.
It was the closest one that we could safely get to with the car
Yeah,
not
it's
working.
not like we had a choice shopping around for a van.
And when we got there, they
Like,
knew
you know,
we
when
weren't
we're
leaving.
ready, we're gonna take all our cash and just buy it. Like
There was no reason that we got that van.
No.
Financially, we should not have been able to get that van.
no. I mean, we had
we
a high
scraped-
interest rate.
Oh,
But,
yeah. We
uh,
scraped together every little penny that we could get because we needed a new vehicle. And we said, get a new car and push back the van idea or do
Right.
it now. And
And
so we
where
jumped.
We have no choice.
Yeah.
It's like this is the time, even though we weren't ready for the van was ready for us, or the next phase of where
So we-
we're rolling in the
Again,
direction
we just rolled with it
is
because
giving us that, it's that slap in the face.
it's
It
what
really
we asked
is.
for.
And so I'm like, I don't need this right now. I need my car to do Uber and Lyft. I need this. If I get the van, I tried to do Uber Eats with it.
That was so dumb.
Gas guzzler. And
$3
it's not
for-
economy efficient at all. I won't qualify to drive passengers. So that's letting go of something to get something, and is trusting and all that.
We made mistakes. There were some choices that we probably could have done a little differently.
Right.
But the van helped us save our house when we went through the bankruptcy.
That's right.
So when we got the van in June of 2018,
So we still have the house.
still had the house,
The
we got
house
the
is
van.
on Airbnb, so we
just
have
just the master bedroom.
just a master bedroom
Yes.
at that time. But since we got the van and it was in the parking, it was in our driveway,
Like inches under
Yeah.
our carport.
we decided to level up the Airbnb and open it up to the whole house, because we said, well, if somebody occupies the whole house, we have to be out. So if we have to be out, we can just take the van and go out to like a campground and camp out there and see how it is.
Do little test runs, feel
Yep.
it out.
And there was just an air mattress in the floor of the van, nothing else.
And a folding table and a
Folding
cooler.
table and a cooler.
That was it. That's what we
That
started with.
That was how that happened.
And
because-
we did that for probably about 6 months. No, about a year.
Yeah, we've got
Almost a year.
We got kicked out of our house for a whole month once.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was wild.
Well,
that was
kicked out.
awesome.
We were making money on
We
the
were
house.
making money, but yeah, like we were out. Like
So-
really, that was wild. Like I said, that was wild.
So we had an empty cargo van, nothing built in it, just a folding table strapped to the wall, a cooler, and air mattresses.
Yes.
We did build the bed platform just
When
so that we
we-
had more storage for
And
the coffee catering
we
business.
had our coffee catering, so we had gigs that we could put our coffee in and then just take it over to
And
the
then
location.
January 2019, December we
I
filed
remember
for bankruptcy,
sleeping
and
in
then
this thing without insulation. And
oh god. But in January 2019, our bankruptcy was finalized. Because Airbnb was our main source of income, they did not take the house. So we were able to keep the house, and they did not take the van. One, because we had a payment on it, and two, because that's where we lived when we were renting our house out. So in a way, it worked out in the best possible situation for us for our bankruptcy.
Yeah.
We left that bankruptcy court and
We're not, I mean, that's
we
not
asked
how-
our lawyer, we're like, what just happened? She's like, you guys are good. We're like, woo!
Yeah. I was just like, it's not like we were looking for a loophole or planning it. It
No,
just
I'm just so grateful that
naturally
it turned out.
happened that way
Yeah.
because, like, we're like, well, can't do anything about the Honda Fit, so we traded the Honda Fit in for, I don't know, I think we got maybe $1,000 on it or
Maybe.
something.
Barely.
And then we got the van from that. So, but yeah, like,
So
it
we
was all
had
van with,
went through the whole bankruptcy. Everything was cleared. And then in April, we sold our house.
right. And we talked about, like, we want to sell the house and we're going to do it. And we're going to build the van at the same time, right?
Right.
Build the van while selling the house.
But then the
The
house,
house got a cash offer.
we listed it on a Friday.
And we didn't have
Cash
anything
offer on Monday.
built in our van yet.
Sold all the papers on Tuesday. So then we drive June 2019, a year after having an empty van. We drove up to Wisconsin and my family helped us build the van.
Like
My brother and my dad.
It was a quick build.
Yep. We only had 2 weeks with my brother. He took off of work. We paid him to take off of work.
Yep.
Because he's got all the tools and he is really good at construction.
Gave him a challenge because there's no right angles.
He's
in
like,
this
all right,
van.
so where's the blueprints when we got there?
There's no blueprints.
There were no blueprints. We're like, the kitchen goes there, and the bed is there, and the refrigerator goes there.
I would say that we had the upper advantage of, like, if you get a van and you want to do van life, is we already knew our habits of the way that we work around each other and pivot. So
Because
that's we have the furniture, or like
Because we had a year of it empty doing trips,
right.
and little camping tours and things like that. We
Fold up
knew
table here, shelf here.
we
like,
knew
yeah.
how we wanted to move around. We took a lot of time. We put boxes up to see where the benches would go. We tested different layouts, and we knew we needed an open floor plan.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
There's some things that now we've been living in it for 3 years that we could tweak, like the bench seat, because Juno sits on it when we want to get
We
into
want
the fridge.
We want our food, and she's on it.
But-
she's like, "Where's the food?" And it's like, "It's underneath you."
But they were sacrifices because we used IKEA kitchen cabinets to save time on the build because we only had a short amount of time with my brother.
Which they're awesome looking. They are a little
Yes.
heavier.
They are heavy. Yeah, we built a little heavy, so that
Mhm.
hurts the gas mileage. So there's all these little tweaks and things.
But overall,
But-
I love my home. I miss it. Whenever
When we're not in it, we miss it.
we're not in it, we're at, like, someone says, borrow our car while you're here. And we do that. And when we borrow the car and we're going someplace, we're like, my home is not here. I can't
Just run to my house and get something.
Man. Like, that's the one thing I really like is
Yeah.
it's like
Always having all of our stuff with us.
always.
So we built the van
In 2019.
2019, summer of 2019 in Wisconsin, and then we went back to Florida and we did our first tiny home festival
Mhm.
and showed the van. And it was not even like, we didn't have the upper kitchen cabinets. It was like half built. It was a lot of fun. And we met our people.
Well, talk about rolling with it. So let's just say that, and how things go. It's the relationships that we built along the way we can't forget, because when we were at Heather's place, that relationship was built because, when we started the coffee business and we helped work for a catering company, at the time was called Wishful Concepts. Shout out to Matthew and Simone.
Yep.
Your food is amazing.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm salivating all over it.
But
But-
that connection built that relationship that gave us that relationship with Heather to be able to stay on her property and finish building, which she
lived vicariously through nomads and van lifers. And,
but now she's doing it too. So she's
Yeah.
traveling. She's in Alaska right now,
yeah.
which is amazing to see her transformation. And I love how this lifestyle has given us the opportunity to impact other people's lives, and they've impacted ours.
Right.
That we can be at the right place at the right time for somebody, that we can support them or they support us, or how it's a mutual win-win for everybody. And it's just been so amazing. I love that part.
We can also make use of the whole trip because with all the abilities of figuring out how we can make gig economy, we made that happen. Between doing Shipt, between doing
we've
DoorDash,
tried, we've been doing all sorts of different types of jobs and figuring out what works for us. And
there's always something that we're able to make out of nothing. Which
absolutely.
I think
and that's one of the things that's one of the skills we've learned over our many years together, because we've been forced to, with all of our challenges that we've had. That's why the epitome is just to roll with it, because life is going to throw you bumps in the road and turns, and there's a giant mountain in front of you, and you think that you can't go any further, and all of a sudden, it goes sideways.
It's going to suck.
But
it's not pleasant.
But we've made our environment, our home, on wheels, because we also get the itch to travel and move somewhere else.
It's fun being
to always have our comfort home with us.
Yeah.
It's just it's so peaceful now.
Thank you so much for joining us on our adventures. If you're curious about our van, check out this video for our full van tour and some more silliness. Please also like and subscribe to continue rolling with us every week.